This is Dr. Julie Watts, and I'd like to introduce to you a little bit about how to fulfill the independent research requirement that all students are required to complete. So to get started with this, I wanted to go here to the the program website, and we can just begin with the program curriculum section. And I just wanted to show you here on the program plan. This is going to pop up pretty big. We'll reduce this down. This is our program plan sheet, and the requirement that all students have here includes the 12 credits of core curriculum. Then we are free to choose 15 credits of selected studies coursework. And then the final requirement that students need to complete is the independent research. And you can do that in two different ways. One way is the 3-credit field project, which would allow you to graduate with a 30-credit degree. And other students choose a 6-credit thesis requirement. So you do one or the other. So again, I just wanted to provide this little brief overview for those of you, just to remind you where that independent research requirement fits in with your program. Now we'll go back and go to the final project/thesis link here on the program website. And that's going to take you to a couple different options here. And the first is going ahead and registering for 735, 770. And you've got a list, you really do, 7 steps to do this. Registering for this independent research step is more involved than registering for a typical course. And so there's a couple of things to decide. And I really think the first thing for you to do is to contact me, because I can talk you through each of these fairly efficiently. I think it's a good sort of idea to do that. Your first step really, though, is to decide whether you want to pursue the 3-credit field project or the 6-credit thesis. And I tell students that if you're interested someday in going on to PhD work in TPC, a thesis can be a good idea for you because it mimics the kind of writing that you'll do typically for a doctoral dissertation, in that the thesis at 6 credits is a more extended research project. It's more ambitious, and it typically will take you 2 semesters to complete, whereas the field project at 3 credits will typically take you 1 semester. If you opt for the thesis, not only will you be kind of completing a more ambitious project, you'll also be writing your thesis for a committee of 3 faculty members. Your field project just asks you to write for 1 faculty advisor. The thesis also has an oral presentation and oral defense component. So you'll either need to come to campus to defend your thesis, or we also can sort of, WebEx you in or live feed you in from wherever you are, so you don't need to physically come to campus. We'll video you in. And you answer questions from your committee, from the university community. So again, there is an oral defense component with the 6-credit thesis. Enrolling for a field project doesn't mean that you can't go on to do a doctoral dissertation. But again, it's just something to think about. If you want to complete a more ambitious research project, the thesis is for you. You'll need to decide what your topic is going to be, what your research topic will be. Some common ideas include extending a research idea that you started to work on in one of our courses, or looking at a problem, a communication-related problem at your workplace. What could we solve or address using academic research skills? Or maybe there's a research area that you just didn't have a chance to pursue in our program courses, and you really have this neat idea you've been wanting to work on for a while. That could be an idea as well. We ask you to draft a prospectus as the 3rd step in the process. And it's just a short set of questions, prompts that I ask you to respond to. But what this prospectus step does, is it enables you to put into writing your research idea. Like, what is that kernel of an idea? And you and I exchanged that prospectus draft a couple of times to make sure it makes sense. I can help you clarify it. It's probably 2 pages. I've seen some 3, 4 pages in length. So again, the prospectus allows you to put into writing what your idea is. Steps 3 and 4 kind of go together. You know, we hone that draft together. And then the two of us really decide, you know, the sort of short list of who a faculty advisor might be. It's got to be someone whose area of expertise is in your project topic area. That person also has to be available. You know, they have to be ready to work with you and available to work with you. So we use that prospectus. You send it out to those faculty advisor candidates as a way to help them understand what the project is. And then they usually agree, you know, it's probably a good fit. They agree to advise your project. At that point, if you're working on a thesis, you'll have to work with your advisor to assemble a committee. So it doesn't end there. Then the last step, of course, is always filling out a form. You'd fill out either the 735 or 770 form and email it to me, and I can route it for signatures and make sure it gets processed. The final step is a step takes you to the online registration that the graduate school has, going to the register step, and you just need to fill this in. It's fairly basic, just this electronic form. So those are the steps in a nutshell for the 735, 770 independent research. Just so you've got this overview of what that's going to be about. And then I'm also going to list here, a link here to a list of some of the previous projects that have been completed, field projects and thesis work, so you can get a kind of a sense for what other students have completed. One last bit of information I think to have is our graduate school research guide. So you go up to the graduate school website, find the research guide. We've got these steps and tabs and so forth that you can take a look at as well. But again, our main kind of place to go to access information and a good starting place is the field project thesis link on our MSTPC website.